we are gonna work on Selenium IDE and all those stuff, and what are all the limitations of IDE. All these stuff we discussed till the yesterday's class. So from the today's class, I would like to explain you about. Okay, I would like to explain you about how can we work on RC, and then why we are going for RC. What exactly the reason behind going for Selenium RC? Generally, Selenium IDE is having a few limitations like a browser restriction, conditional statement implementation, report generation. There are various kinds of limitations of IDE. In order to overcome all those limitations, we are going for RC, right? So the reason for RC over here is RC supports multiple programming languages and multiple browser supports. Okay, multiple programming languages and as well as a multiple browser support. RC supports the multiple programming languages and as well as a multiple browsers also. Among these multiple programming languages, we are choosing Java as our programming language. Usually a simple question will rise in our mind: why Java? Why not any other programming language? Why we are going for specifically on a Java programming language to work on a Selenium? The simple thing is, majority of the people in a real time are using Selenium with the Java. So whenever we struck at a particular point means that we will get multiple solutions of all of our issues. That's the first point. And another major point is even Selenium was designed using a Java programming language. This is another thing. And another major thing is Java supports cross OS feature also, which is we can simply run the Java code on any kind of an OS. So as a inbuilt Java is having a couple of advantages. Whenever we are choosing that particular programming language, all those advantages we can use it in our Selenium too. Okay, all those advantages we can use them in our Selenium too. That's the main reason basically. Okay, that's the main reason. So that's the first and a major reason why Selenium with the Java. And the another point over here is Java is a programming language where developers usually write their source codes. See here, Word is a one kind of an editor, Notepad is a one kind of an editor. Like that, we do have a n number of editors where we are writing a text. The same way, in order to write the programs also, there must be some editor. Usually, majority of the developers are choosing Eclipse editor to write their Java programs. In order to write down their Java programs, majority of the developers are going with this Eclipse editor itself. Eclipse is an editor which is used to write down the programs. Okay, and it supports using an Eclipse we can write down a Java program or .NET program in even Salesforce Apex classes. All those things we can write it in an Eclipse editor. But right now we are choosing Eclipse editor to write down the Java programs. Okay, right now we are choosing a Java programs. In order to write down the Java programs, we want an Eclipse editor. So in order to work on these Selenium, either RC or a WebDriver, we are using this Eclipse editor to write down our programs. In order to write down our programs, we are just using this particular editor itself, which is an Eclipse editor. Either RC program or else a WebDriver program, we are using the simple editor, which is an Eclipse. That's fine. So we need to download this Eclipse editor in our machine. Prior working on this thing, we need to cross check whether Java was already installed in our machine or not. We need to know whether Java was already installed in our machine or not. To cross check that, open the command prompt and enter Java, hit enter button. Whenever we did that, if some kind of an information got displayed like this, we can confirm that Java was already installed. If it was not installed, then it will display a message stating that Java is not recognized as internal or external command. Okay, Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. Such kind of a message will display for you. Okay, as it is not displaying that message, so Java was already installed. So how can I install Java in my machine then? So JDK free downloads. See, just enter JDK free download. From the search results, click on a first link, which will be navigated to an Oracle page, which is a downloads page. From where select this accept, and here JDK Windows 64 is there. Download the executable file. Whenever we have downloaded this executable file, again we need to install that. Simply download that and install that executable file. Automatically after installation, whenever you enter as a Java, automatically it will display that particular confirmation message. So if Java was not installed in your machine, you need to download this JDK first and then you need to install this information. Okay, if Java was not downloaded, you need to download it first and then you need to install this particular stuff. That's fine. Done up to here, guys. Am I clear for everybody so far, or do you people have any questions for me? Am I clear for you all? Fine. So once this one was done, the next point of what exactly I need to do over here is, we have a downloaded Java in our machine, and now that's fine. Is it possible for me to directly write down the code RC and a WebDriver code in Eclipse? So is it possible? The answer is, so first of all, we need to do some configuration. After that, we can work or write down the codes. We can work or we can write down the code. First of all, we need to do some kind of a configuration. What exactly the configuration we need to do over here then? So the basic configuration is, for Eclipse editor, we need to add few jar files. Immediately a simple question, what exactly this jar file is? See here guys, I have prepared a code for about 1,000 lines of codes. Okay, this 1,000 lines of a code, what exactly it will do means, it will create a user, delete a user, edit user. Assume that this is the code which contains 1,000 lines which I have prepared. So if I would like to share this information to Mukesh, then again Mukesh needs to write down this code again, and he needs to work on that. Right? Mukesh again needs to change the code and again he needs to work on that particular stuff. And that would be a bit difficult for me to give these 100 lines of a code to. Okay, that would be really a bit difficult for me to give these 100 lines of a code. So the point of what it will happen means, as it is a bit difficult for me to share this 1,000 lines of a code, I will convert this code into a file. We can treat that file as a jar file. Okay, a single jar file can compress all the code. So anyone can access this code. If I share this code to Mukesh, whatever the logic which I have defined in the code, Mukesh can use this logic. If I share this code to someone, someone can access the logic. So the only thing is, if someone is having this jar file, whatever the logic we have defined in that particular code, anyone can access that. So jar file means we are just sharing our code to someone, so that who is having this jar file, they can access the entire logic defined in those files. So to the Eclipse editor, we need to add the jar files. What are all the jar files that we need to add? Say Selenium server jar file. Selenium server is the one which acts like a mediator between the programming language and the browser. Okay, Selenium server is the one which acts like a mediator between the programming language and the browser. Okay, so what exactly it will happen? It is acting like a mediator. Whatever the programs we are writing, it will help the executing those programs in the browser. Okay, it will help executing those programs in the browser. Selenium server will help executing those programs in the browser. That's fine. Selenium server will help executing the programs in a browser. And the second jar file is Selenium Java client drivers. Whatever the programming language we are choosing, we need to choose the appropriate client drivers. As I am choosing a Java programming language, and I am going for Java client drivers. Okay, whatever the programming language we are choosing, we need to choose that particular jar file. Okay, whatever the programming language we are choosing, we need to choose that particular jar file. And the third one is JXL jar file to support data driven testing. What exactly the data driven testing means? Accessing the information from either an Excel file or else a notepad or else whatever information might be. Okay, I would like to access the information from a file. To support that, we are going for JXL jar file. And finally, a JUnit jar file is used to write down JUnit test cases. In order to write down the JUnit test cases, we are going for this JUnit jar file. That's fine. So we are going for this JUnit jar file to write down the JUnit test cases. That's fine, guys. Done up to here. So once we are done up to here, the next concept of what exactly we need to do then. The next concept is starting from the Eclipse editor, we need to download all the configuration. Okay, starting from the Eclipse editor, we need to download all the configuration. Okay, starting from the Eclipse editor, we need to download all the configuration. So here first I'm entering as Eclipse editor free downloads. From that, click on a first link which will be navigated to Eclipse official website downloads page, from where I'm just selecting Eclipse IDE for Java developers and it is a 64-bit. I'm just selecting this Windows 64-bit. Click on that. This Eclipse is gonna download as a zip file. Okay guys, this Eclipse is gonna download as a zip file. Fine, we have downloaded an Eclipse editor. After downloading the Eclipse editor, the next one is a Selenium server. So here, in order to download the Selenium Java client drivers and a Selenium server, go to Selenium official website from where we have a downloaded IDE. I just navigated to that particular page itself. And if you observe that particular page, you see here, Selenium standalone server and a downloader version 2.48.2. Okay, this is the version. So 2.48.2 is the one which we have downloaded. Okay, that's fine. This is the Selenium server version. Okay, that's fine. This is my Selenium server version. So click on this one. It will be downloaded as a jar file. See here, 2.48.2 as a jar file. So I'm just making a note as this one is gonna directly download as a jar file. The next one is a Selenium Java. Just scroll down the page. Selenium client drivers. If at all you are going for Java, this is the one. If at all you are going for C Sharp, Ruby, Python, whatever it might be, the appropriate drivers are there. So from the Java, I'm just clicking on these downloads. So what it will happen means whenever you clicked on these download, automatically the appropriate one will be downloaded. Okay, so whenever I clicked on a download, see here, it's gonna download as a zip file. I just specified it as a zip file. Done. I just specified it as a zip file. So it got a downloaded too. And the next one is a JXL jar file. So JXL jar file. Download it. So download the JXL jar file. Click on this link. It will be navigated to JXL downloads page. See here from where jxl.jar.zip. This JXL jar file is gonna download as a zip file, and the last one is a JUnit jar file. Simply enter JUnit free download, and from the search results I just opened this one, from where you do have an option directly it's gonna download as a jar file. So this JUnit is gonna download as a jar file. So whenever you click on a download, all this information is gonna download into your downloads folder only. Okay, all this information is going to your downloads folder. Selenium server, Eclipse editor, all those things are gonna download as a downloads folder itself. Whatever the content it got displayed in a zip file, simply unzip that. Okay, simply extract the content from that. Let me show you that. See here, if the Eclipse editor got downloaded, by default it will display like this. Right click, extract to Eclipse. So automatically a new folder will be created like that. If you move into that, you can find a Eclipse globe icon. Eclipse shortcut and a globe icon is there. Double click on the globe icon to open the Eclipse. Whenever you double click on an Eclipse globe icon, a workspace launcher got displayed. So what exactly this workspace launcher means? Using this workspace launcher, whatever the location we have specified, where in which, what are all the programs we are writing in an Eclipse editor, all those programs are going to save in that location. What are all the programs we are writing in an Eclipse editor, all those programs are going to save in that particular location itself. Okay, all the programs is going to store in this location. So click on it. Okay, initially whenever you are opening the Eclipse editor at the very first time, here instead of this particular page it will display, okay, in here instead of this particular page it will display a workbench and then some kind of an information. So click on a workbench, automatically it will be navigated to this page. See here on a left hand side I have a too much of information. The reason is I have already created a couple of Java projects. That's the reason it's been displaying this information. Okay, that's the reason it's been displaying the information. If at all you haven't created anything, it doesn't contain any information here. Okay, if you haven't created anything, if it is a new project, or else if at all you are opening the Eclipse editor at the very first time, it doesn't contain this much of information. Okay, it doesn't contain this much of information. That's fine, done up to here. So I just specified this stuff. Okay, I just specified this particular stuff, and then once this one was done, the next point of what exactly I need to do over here is, okay, once after we opened this Eclipse editor, now we need to write down a program. In order to write down a program, first of all we need to have a project. Okay, so here, as you know that we are using a Java programming language, and so go to file, go to new, and I'm selecting a Java project from the list, and I am naming that Java project as Jyoti. So that's completely up to your wish, guys. See, here I don't have any project with the name as a Jyoti. That's the reason I'm just giving my project name as a Jyoti. Okay, I don't have any project here. That's the reason I'm creating a new project with the name as a Jyoti. Just click on a next and observe over here a new Jyoti project got created. Click on a finish. If you go back to this Jyoti project, it contains an expand button. Just click on that. It contains an SRC, and the other one is a JRE system library. SRC and a JRE system library. So what exactly the JRE system library contains? It contains the various kinds of Java related jar files. So as we have created a Java project, Eclipse editor is pulling the various kinds of Java related jar files, and it is being storing here in a JRE system library. That's fine. Am I clear for everybody so far, or do you people have any questions till now, guys? Mukesh, Gayatri, Jyoti, Vidya, Shruti. Am I clear for you all, or do you have any questions for me? Done, guys. Done up to here. I just created a project so far. So The other point of what exactly I need to do over here is, okay, that's fine. I just specified up to here. Okay, that's fine. I just specified up to here. The other point of what exactly I need to do means, okay, that's fine. This is the Java project. So we have downloaded all the jar files, and right now all the files are there in our downloads folder, right? So what I'm gonna do now means, at a specified location, create a new folder with a name as a library. I just created a new folder with a name as a library. What are all the files I have downloaded? Simply copy them and place all the files in this location itself. Like JXL I have specified here, JUnit I have specified here, Selenium server I have specified here, Selenium Java client drivers I have specified here. Whatever the files that we have downloaded, copy all those files and paste them in a single folder with a name as a library. So library is a folder which is containing a collection of all the required jar files. What are all the jar files are there? All the jar files are got stored in a library folder itself. That's fine. So now we need to add all these jar files. See, in this page we do have too many jar files are there. Just ignore about too many jar files. So we want a Selenium server, Selenium Java client drivers, a JUnit and a JXL, just these 4 jar files, whether they are here at this location or not. We do have them. So now I'm going to my Eclipse editor. I'm going to my Eclipse editor, and what I'm gonna do now means, just a second, just a second guys. Okay. Fine. So right click on Jyoti projects, go to build path, configure build path. So you no need to make anything notes from your end. We do have all this information mentioned in our running notes. Okay, we do have everything mentioned in our running notes itself. So by default it would be on a source tab. Just click on a libraries tab and click on add external jars. Just click on a library and click on a add external jars. So here from there, from the libraries folder, add a JUnit, press Ctrl JXL, press Ctrl Selenium server. And still I need to add Selenium Java client drivers, move into that folder, add the 2 jar files, Selenium Java client drivers, and click on OK. So whenever you added those jar files, if you observe guys, a new folder with a name as a reference and a library got added. JRE system library, whenever we have created a project, automatically my Eclipse editor gather that information. Whereas if you observe this reference and a library, all this information will be captured by my, okay, uh, by ourselves itself. We just added all those information which was captured over here itself. That's fine. Done up to here. Am I clear for everybody so far, or do you people have any specific questions for me? Gayatri, Jyoti, Mukesh, Vidya, Satish. Is this clear for you all till now? Shruti? Fine. Done. So we have added all the configuration then. So JRE system library and a reference libraries, these two are the jar files. Then what about these SRC? So in the SRC, we are gonna write down our source code. Whatever the programs we are gonna write, we are gonna write all those programs under this SRC only. Okay, we are gonna write down all the programs under this SRC itself. How come we are gonna write down that? See, SRC is a simple folder location. Let me show you that. See, go to the project where we have created Jyoti. So I have created a Jyoti here. See, SRC is a folder. Under SRC, we don't have any subfolders. So basically, on the SRC, we are creating a package. So package name is W1. Click on a finish. See, generally it will be a one-time effort of a one project, adding of all the jar files and all those things. If at all you are working on a multiple projects, means for sure we need to add this configuration for all those projects. If at all you are working for 5 projects, then you need to create 5 Java projects, and for all the 5 projects we need to specify this as they are individual projects. Okay, so I have created a package with a name as a W1 under the SRC. If you go to the folder, a new subfolder got created under the SRC with the name as a W1. So it means a package, it's a simple folder location where exactly under which we are going to write down our test scripts. A package is a location where exactly we are going to write down our test scripts. Okay, under the package we are going to write down our test scripts. That's fine. So here, as it is a Java, we need to write down the Java classes. Then what is a class? Then what is an object? What is an oops concept? So we need to know about basics on Java first of all. Before going to class and an object, we need to know basics on Java. So what is a class, or what is an object, or why we are going for classes, why we are going for these objects and all those things. Generally, Java is an object-oriented programming language. Object-oriented programming language means any programming language which supports OOPS concepts, which is represented in terms of class and an objects, which we can treat it as an object-oriented programming language. If a programming language supports these OOPS concepts, which comes under this object-oriented programming language, Java is one of the object-oriented programming language. Everything will be represented in terms of classes and as well as an objects in Java programming language. Okay, everything will be represented in terms of classes and as well as an objects. That's fine. Done up to here. Everything is represented in terms of classes and an objects in Java programming language. That's fine. Once after I have specified up to here, the next point is what is a class and then what is an object. Okay, so generally in a normal terms, okay, any real time entity we can call it as a class, or else sorry, any real time entity we can treat it as an object. Okay, so whatever the real time entity is, we can call it as an object. What does it mean? What exactly the best example for this stuff? I'm just specifying that any real time entity we can call it as an object, and moving on to the class, any logical entity we can call it as a class. What does it mean? A logical entity and a real time entity. The best example for this one is in a college. Okay, assume that in a college we do have an exam application form. If you clearly observe, this application form is common for all the students who are studying in the college, right? This application form is common for all the students who are studying in a college, right? Whether that particular person is from any department, this form is common for all the persons. Okay, in those cases of what exactly we need to do then, okay, so the common form we can treat it as a class. Okay, the common form we can treat it as a class. Okay, whatever the form which is a common for all the students, which we can treat it as a class. Coming on to the objects, first suppose if Mukesh fill the form, as of now that form contains the information about a Mukesh, which we can treat it as an object for Mukesh. If I fill this form with the Raji, as of now we can call this one as an object for Raji, as the entire information about Raji will be there in that particular file. Okay, as of now the entire information about Raji will be there in that particular file, like that. So whatever the file you are choosing, or else whoever is filling that particular file, okay, whoever is submitting that particular file, okay, that particular person information would be there, okay, which we can treat it as, that particular information is there which we can treat it as an object, okay, that particular information we can treat it as an object, guys, okay, that particular information we can treat it as an object, okay, that's fine. So done up to here. Okay, that's fine. So the point what exactly we need to do over here is we have a seen about what is a class and what is an object. That's fine. So generally a class, it's a collection of methods and variables. A class which is a collection of methods and variables. We can also call it as properties and as well as an actions also. Methods we can also treat it as an actions, and variables we can also treat it as a properties. So what is a variable and why we are going for these variables? Let me give you a small example over here. The data type. What is a data type? What type of a data I would like to store? Okay, so variable. Generally, a variable is a memory location where in which we can save a value. Okay, in a variable we can save a value. The best example is a is equal to Murthy. What does it mean? A is a memory location where in which we stored a Murthy. In future, wherever I would like to use a Murthy, simply call a. Automatically Murthy will be called. But in a Java programming language, for the variable, a data type is a mandatory. What type of a data it is? Integer. Integer means all the numerics. Float, the decimal values. If at all any decimal values are there, which will be represented in a float. Character, which will be represented under a single quote and a single character. String, group of characters which we can treat it as a string and represented on a double quotes. Boolean, which might be either true or a false. So whenever we are defining a variable, we need to specify the data type. So it means a is a variable which is of a string type which can hold a group of characters. See here I have a defined as a string type and it's not possible for me to store a numeric value into that. Whatever the data type we have a specified, we need to give that appropriate value into that. These are all the most frequently used data types in our programs. Okay, in our programming language, the max to max, we are using these two, and as well as the integer also. Integer, string, and a boolean, these are all the data types. So a variable is a memory location where in which we are saving a value. Whenever you are saving a value, we need to specify a data type for that. That's fine, guys. Done up to here. What is a method then? Group of statements, we can treat it as a method. What exactly a group of statement means? Example is the task given to the developer is a create user. In order to create the user, they need to log into the application, they need to create the user, and then they can log out. The same way, they need to edit the user. Okay, the task given to them is an edit user. Again, the steps are login, edits, and then log out. The same way, the task 3 is a delete the user. The steps are login, delete, and then log out. Okay, login, delete, and as well as a logout. So these are all the steps. Okay, login, delete, and as well as a logout. That's fine. So these are all the basic steps. If you clearly observe, login and a logout code is common for all the actions. So instead of writing a login and a logout for multiple times, if we can write down a method for that, so that we can call the method n number of times. So method is one time creation and multiple times usage, which we can treat it as a method. One time creation and a multiple times a usage, which we can treat it as a method. So in a class, we are defining all these methods. That's fine. Am I clear for everybody, or do you people have any questions for me? That's fine. That's fine, guys. Done up to here. So this is the thing. So these are all the various topics. These are all the various brief introduction about a Java programming language. So